It's good stuff.
All right. Well, it is 10 o'clock-ish. Well, I got seconds to go, but it's 10 o'clock-ish. So we're going to go and get started this morning. I've got the chat up there, obviously, so if somebody chimes in on the chat, we can see it. This morning, let me jump over to my slides and do that because that's usually the easiest way, and it actually worked. This is Dawn with Rattikin Title, and you guys, I'm sure some of you use her, but I would highly recommend Rattikin Title and Dawn. Very, very good closers. And Dawn, the floor is yours.
Yes, so I'm Dawn Matyastik. I'm in the Cultural District office on Camp Bowie, although we have other offices, Arlington, our Southwest office on Parkwood, which is a classroom that Morgan and I both share. So anytime I'm going to have a class at Rattikin, it's going to be there. So I know there's kind of some confusion sometimes because we're both, but we share the space and we love each other, so it's all good. My closer that I really push is Wendy Wright, and what is so fantastic about her is, well, Catherine. Catherine is her assistant. She's also a licensed escrow officer, and so we really top them as our dynamic duo because they're amazing. As you know, title people, I mean, we're resources for you guys. I know that anytime that you need help with your socials, typically we can answer most questions, but if you need help in a certain area, we know where to lead you to. We have those people on speed dial. We can do those one-on-ones with you, and it's just great. And I don't know if you have done any 1031 exchanges, but we have the 1031 exchange guru, Jeff Rattikin, and we're so proud that he's with the family, and he's on speed dial, and he will answer his phone. Doesn't matter if he's in Montana about to get on a ski lift, or he's in Colorado. He's everywhere, but he's always available to answer your calls. And then one other thing I wanted to bring, and I did bring some sellers packets, and then we can also do buyers. And it's something for them to hold. It's something for them to feel, it's just an added value for your service. So if you ever want any more of those, just let me know. And I also have some other things. We've got 3 classes coming up. One is if you have a YouTube channel, that's great. If you don't, or you just need help with it, we have a class at the end of the month with Glenda Wright, and everybody knows that our Glenda Wright, that she's amazing. And you're always going to go not just home with a nugget, but a wealth of information. She's someone that's really, really fantastic. And then I also brought some just some cultural district guides if you don't have any. And also what we have that nobody really knows about is real estate information systems. We have that as a part of Rattikin. If you need non-policy, non-report, whatever, it's in here. I don't really understand it, but it's in here. It's there for you. So municipalities and banks and all of that call us for that, if they don't want to have a policy. But other than that, I would love to take you to lunch or coffee and tell you more about what we have to offer, and just know that we are a resource for you. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. And I hope you love the local foods. Oh, so also if you have a card, I do have a giveaway, and I hope you like it. But I'll draw for it.
Everybody get your cards out.
I don't know what
Write your name on a napkin.
There you go.
Write your name on a napkin.
No, but then the texture is different.
Oh.
At first I took it out of who else's card do I have to have?
You'll put them fingers in the draw. I don't care how you want to do it.
No card. I don't have a card either. I went on a listing appointment. I took my cards out of this bag and my
Do you have an extra one that's your daughter can write her name on it? Anybody else? Did they give you one mine?
Yeah, I'll use one here for us.
All right.
I'm trying to keep right in there twice.
Yeah, there
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I'll cheat. I don't have a corrupt either. I actually have to make new cards. Okay,
Okay. Who else needs one? Anybody? No? Did you put your name in? What's your name on that one? Give me.
What's going
You need one? You got one?
I got one.
We're doing a drawing.
I'm now a Rattikin title person. Yes, we all are.
All right.
None of us have
All right, there's that one.
I am supposed to recruit, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Good news.
I saw your picture on Facebook.
All right.
Okay. You
Wait,
wanna draw?
Wait for me.
Oh,
so sorry.
no, they'll think they're gonna claim I'm cheating or something like that.
You will.
And then you win.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I didn't even fill the card, but.
Yeah, somehow you won.
Yeah, it's weird.
You're not gonna draw?
Like a cheating.
I mean, I did lose my little business card holder that
You
you
did? From 100 days?
Uh-huh.
Well,
But I really.
I literally.
All right. We have a winner. Kelly. I'll send you a list through email this afternoon that has all the regions.
Okay.
Okay. She's gonna get the drawing winner. She's bringing it in right now.
Oh,
Oh, you're so
I'm a teacher, so I've been looking for something.
That would be so nice.
Thank you.
That's so cute.
How cute.
I love that.
Okay, you're so welcome.
Thank you, Dawn.
So much.
Appreciate you being here.
Yes.
And I will keep all your information stuff here. Thank you so much for everything.
Yeah.
And if you need-
And it's gonna go right.
Yes, it's still cute,
Okay.
but that's why I kind of stumbled a little bit, but it is a really great.
Real estate research company. So I want to see more of this and see what they're doing.
Okay, and I can actually have Tom at the plant. We have one of the only sovereign plants,
Okay.
you know. And he runs it, so he is the one that spearheaded this, and I could have him come and talk to you guys or do a little, video and send it. or
See me some
anything like
information so I
that.
can figure out what it is and then I can translate for them.
Yeah, I'd love to see this. I'm sure it'd be my gang.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Don. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. You're welcome to stay if you want to stay for the meeting. If you need to go, that's fine too. Whatever you want to do.
I would like to stay, but I have like.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
I'd like to have an appointment with you guys.
Thank you, Dawn.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Welcome to my ghetto.
So let's move ahead and let's get this, I actually have quite a bit of information I want to give you guys today and share with you. So our core value today is we are passionate about daily growing stronger, smarter, and more selfless. We want to see our team members flourish personally and grow constantly. We encourage and challenge each other to grow stronger physically, mentally, professionally, and emotionally as leaders to pursue selflessness. Our intent that this growth does not terminate on ourselves, but is used to give back and serve our community and those with whom we interact. So my spin on this is the things that we do in this mastermind every Wednesday at 10 a.m. are intentionally designed, and the information that I provide to you is to prepare us for the difficult and confusing job that we do. Attendance and attention to our topics makes our entire industry better. I have seen this personally this week with Danielle, with some of the other agents in the office. We're actually training the other people in this industry how to do this job as agents, as people, as leaders. That's what we are actually doing. Paragraph 12, explaining this to other agents, explaining how to do the contracts properly has been a mountain to climb for all of us. And getting other people to understand how to use those paragraphs and what their listing agreement that we never see actually means. Paragraph 5 deals directly with paragraph 12 in the contract, and the fact that we have spent 6 months going through all this information has made us stronger and made us leaders in the industry. I'm very convinced of it. So that's my spin on it. Announcements. Nothing next week, spring break. So no meetings up here. You're welcome to come Wednesday morning. There will be no food, but you're welcome to come up here and hang out, be together as a team, do something fun. 2 weeks away on the 26th, we have breakfast with Innovex Inspections and Ernest Johnson. He's doing a special deal for me this morning. As a matter of fact, I had him do a basic inspection which is not a full inspection, but we needed it for one of the lending pieces. So he's going up for like close to half price and just doing plumbing, electrical, roof, foundation, doing a basic inspection. And he's at my listing right now doing that for me. So there are ways to work around problems when you have them. If you're not sure, ask on Slack. Somebody will jump in and help us. Okay. The town hall is coming March the 27th. So is it okay for me to announce where we're going to do it, Jim?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to be at the Bearded Lady. Jana Seals raised her hand. Jana, please go ahead.
Well, you were talking about Ernest. I've used him for 12 years, and I had a homeowner that, a buyer that purchased a home up in Garland, and I used a different inspector for that. And since then, it was probably about 3 or 4 years ago, her foundation caved in, and she's had to do about $50,000 worth of work. And Ernest was able to provide her with the connection for the legal side of that, like a legal inspector. So he's a great resource on top of being just a great inspector. I just wanted to throw that out there because he knew exactly who to send her to provide the legalities needed for, further pursuing damages.
Thank you, Jan. I appreciate that. He's been nothing but nice when I've talked to him. So looking forward to him joining us on the 26th. So back to the 27th, town hall will be like at 11:30. We're doing lunch.
Yeah.
Lunch at the Bearded Lady, which is just right up here.
Kind of like a mini happy hour.
Mini happy hour during lunch.
Yeah. Sure.
Get drunk and then go do some real estate. No, don't do that.
No.
That's just Danielle.
So that's different from a normal Thursday.
Okay. So that's on the 27th. A couple things that I want you guys to be aware of. On the 2nd, I've scheduled, we had talked about it in Slack about reverse mortgages, doing a CE class. So Ryan's going to come do the CE class with us on the 2nd. So bring your $5 or $10, just have a little cash with you for Ryan, but he's going to be here on April the 2nd, and he will take up the entire mastermind. We'll do announcements and some real quick market stuff, and then he'll go for an hour. So we'll run a little bit long, probably like 11:15 or so, but that'll be on April the 2nd. It is time to update your information about brokerage services. If you haven't done that and you don't know how to do it, reach out to me, I'll show you. But it needs to be above your email signature. So whatever your picture is, and you need to have a link to your IBS saved in your Google Drive, the new version. The new version has that something about real estate compensation is always negotiable. And that's the big change. It was 2 of those sentences. So that needs to be done on your IABS, and we need to get that updated, please. Also need to update your socials with that. So if you have those posted on Facebook, like your consumer protection notice and your IABS, update those to the links on your Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and whatever else you run your socials on. National market update. Okay, so this was put out Monday, and things have changed since Monday. So we're going to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. Things are really all over the place. The Mortgage Bankers Association reported purchase mortgage applications shot up 9% for last week. That's a true fact. They see purchase activity ahead of last year's pace, more green shoots as we head into the spring home buying season. Spending on residential construction in January came in virtually flat for the month, just a smidge below December's annual rate, but builder spending is now more than 3% higher than a year ago. Inventory continues to grow. In February, there were 27% more homes for sale than a year ago, the 16th month of annual gains. New listings were also higher, and the median price lower than a year ago. I think that's just, duh. There we go. Rough ride. It was a bumpy week on Wall Street as traders worried about tariffs and economic growth. Tariffs for Canada and Mexico were delayed, but the 3 major stock indices still booked solid declines for the week. Growth concerns were stoked by some soft corporate earnings and guidance. Plus, the February ISM manufacturing revealed slower activity, rising prices, weakening employment in that sector. The national 30-year fixed mortgage rate fell again. It's the biggest weekly decline since mid-September, but they've jumped back up since then. So we're going to cover that in just a second. We were talking yesterday in our leadership meeting that lumber prices are going up in 2 weeks. 25% is what lumber prices are going up.
They're not going to go up 25%.
No,
No, they're anywhere from like, they don't have a set price.
Oh, they don't. Okay.
They are good. Yeah, so all the lumber comes from Canada. And so, yeah, so the tariffs are, let's keep going. I have an update.
Okay. This week's forecast, we're talking about mortgage applications, inflation, and consumer sentiment. I saw a post this morning that consumer sentiment went down significantly last week, but that is not unusual for right here before spring break, before the middle of March, because the consumer sentiment will go up as we get closer to the end of the month. That's just a traditional way that it happens. As buyers, okay, so everybody applied for mortgages last week, 10%. Well, so then all those people were like, okay, I'm pre-qualified. What am I going to do? I don't like this. And then people start listing right after spring break and during spring break, and then they're like, woo, I see 4 houses I like, and consumer sentiment goes up. So that's what we're expecting to see. After last week's surge, we'll check to see if the mortgage applications head up again. That'll be in 2 weeks. Do that. The inflation is expected to slow in February by both the CPI and the PPI, and that could be why economists predict a rebound in the preliminary March University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey. Jana, go ahead.
Thank you, Brian. I have been thinking a lot about contingencies lately because I have a lot of listings and trying to think more purposefully about how I want to position myself going into this spring market. It seems like there's a price range in that mid price range, 500 to 800 range, where they just kind of sit. And do you think it's a good idea to really consider contingencies? I know it's scary, but those ultimately are our buyers. That's our buyer pool in this market. So I know that maybe you want to, schedule that into some type of morning meeting or, at another time. But I think that's something that we might need to evaluate more closely.
Well, and you got to remember that there are a lot of lenders out there that have the buy now, sell later program or something similar to that. There's a lot of people. I got one done this week for almost $1 million, and all they're doing is pulling equity out of their current home to put the down payment on a 950. So there are programs out there. You have to look for them. And if you don't know where those are and you don't have a lender that does that, yes, Slack. You can get on
the listing side, because my problem has been getting these listings sold.
Oh, me too.
So if you're like what Jan is saying, what if we are positioning our sellers in a way to understand there might be a contingency that comes up, because we can't educate the buyers on how to do that. We can only just educate our sellers on, hey, if you aren't in a hurry, or if you can wait on a buyer, this might be the most money you're going to get for one in this market, because you're going to be more likely to get more money by somebody who has a contingency than someone comes in as a cash buyer or ready to go right now. So what is your experience there?
Well, I mean, I don't think that you're far off of what is like, yeah, that's the way it goes. I think educating all of the listings, and I've got 2 that are sitting too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody has a listing that's not getting a lot of activity. It's just their micro markets, and it's what we've been seeing for the last year, honestly.
Yeah.
Educating your sellers on that type of information of, hey, if we get a contingency, this is what we probably need to at least consider. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. And then do you go and like run CMAs on the house that they're bringing in? And because if they don't have an offer on their house.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then try to explain to your seller, I think this house is priced right. They're also going to sit on the market for some time. So we have to keep that in mind, kind of thing, like to help them to be able to feel comfortable with the time frame it might take.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it's not the golden rule, but it's just the way it is. Everything that we do is time versus money.
Yeah.
If you've got the time, you can wait on the money. If you need the money, you're giving up the time.
Right.
Everything that we do in this business industry is time versus money. So if a seller is sitting there and they're like, well, I'm not coming off my price point. Okay. Just so you know, that may take us 180 days or more to sell.
But also what you find too is somebody who gets somebody who will pay a little bit more if you'll accept my contingency.
Absolutely.
So people that you know, and then of course you have to review CMA, look at the property, how saleable is it? I mean, I had somebody come up to me at a networking event and I was sharing my listing on Walnut Falls Circle and she goes, oh, I have a buyer. She was on the market last year and we couldn't get it sold. Do you think your seller would accept a contingency? And I'm like, red flag. No. So,
Well-
you know, there's an element of logic that has to come into play as well. But I mean, if they've got a saleable property, they've maintained it well, it's in a good location. I just feel like at some point we have to get to a tipping point because there was a season where contingencies were not an issue. They were going to sell. And
Right.
if we can get them all buying and selling to each other, then, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, those are all very viable points.
I think one thing I want to say on that is like having lender partners, like that's part of why having lender partners is so important because while no, you may not be able to educate the buyer. Literally this happened Monday. It wasn't a contingency, but I had an agent that texted me and was like, hey, we have to cancel the contract because we can't get financing. And I was like, first of all, your clients are pre-qualified with Chase Bank. Like there are other steps. Like let's put our heads together. Let's come up with a solution. Have lender, like my mom literally, and this is open to anybody, will tell you if you want to advertise her as a preferred lender, she will help the buyers buy their rates down. Like she can't do a lot, but if you want to put that in your listing somewhere, she'll do it. You have lender partners that can do buy now, sell later. Like having all that information ready, while no, it's not your job, it can help bridge the gap with some of these less educated, less willing to work, less creative agents that come our way because that happens unfortunately a lot.
Brilliant.
And literally like they went from Monday trying to cancel the contract to my mom getting a full underwrite accept yesterday.
2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
And we've been on the market, like it just would have caused a whole slew of issues. So while no, it's not our jobs to educate all of the buyers, like it is our job to partner with other agents to get the house sold.
And that's part of one of our core values is bring a solution.
Right.
So when somebody brings you a problem, have a solution ready.
Yeah.
And we have solutions. I mean, ask on Slack. I mean, there are going to be problems that we all have that are not fixable. But there are things that we can do. Jimmy monitors Slack too. Jimmy's been through a world of stuff doing the things that they've done with 6F. So we have people that have done this stuff. Don't hesitate to reach out. Let's talk about Federal Reserve Watch. The confidence level went down 0.3% that we're going to get a rate cut in June, but the rate cut is not going to be that big if it does come. We need to be educating people and the buyers that this is the rates that we're going to see. 6.5 to 6.9 is completely normal. That's normal. As a matter of fact, this is today's rate watch. They update this every day at 4 o'clock. So I pulled that this morning. So until this afternoon, 6.79 is a 30-year fixed conventional. FHA is running about 6.19. So the rates are good. The rates are fine. We just need to get people out there and moving around. Business tip: to grow your business online, stop worrying about creating the perfect post or developing the perfect social media plan. Excuse me. That's somebody calling the office. Let me just. Well, it's Grasshopper. We have a virtual phone here at the office.
Yeah.
And so they call the office all the time, and that's what happens on my computer. So stop worrying about creating the perfect post or developing the perfect social media plan. It's authenticity, not perfection, that counts. Show up as yourself, post often, and more people will like and trust you. Did you know that over 60% of the world's population, 4.9 billion, use social media, and average users spend 2.5 hours a day, over 15 of their time awake on social platforms. Thought that was super interesting. Kind of like the stat about YouTube. The stat for YouTube, more video is uploaded to YouTube every hour than was filmed before 1970.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
insane.
okay. Going ahead. Okay, so I'm going to do occasionally I'll do something that I call practical tactical. That's a Tannerism. If you remember Tanner, he was really good at practical tactical. That was a phrase he liked to use. So we're going to talk about a couple of those things. First off, I saw this on the NAR site. This is negotiating like a pro. So, Okay, just a comment there. So let's explore, this is a negotiation phrase, and Danielle, this is something you just referenced a second ago. Let's explore options that benefit both of us. This phrase embodies the principle of integrative. Thank you. I need teachers. Negotiation, focusing on collaborative problem solving rather than adversarial bargaining. By proposing to explore mutually beneficial options, leaders signal their commitment to finding solutions that satisfy all the parties involved. This approach fosters goodwill and leads to more sustainable and satisfactory outcomes. The emphasis on mutual benefit aligns with the concept of a win-win strategy, which are essential for building strong collaborative relationships. That's something that I always talk to my clients about is, hey, we're going to ask for these things during the negotiation period, but there has to be a win for both sides or this doesn't go forward. So we may ask for all these things and they may push back. We have to be acceptable with this much of a win. If I'm on the listing side, it's the same conversation. They're asking for all this stuff. We need to give them some type of a win. Your win is here. If it's not win-win for both people, it doesn't go forward. That's just the bottom line. Can you help me understand your priorities? Effective negotiation hinges on understanding the underlying interests and priorities of all parties. By inviting the other party to articulate their concerns and objectives, leaders demonstrate empathy and active listening, key components of emotional intelligence. This phrase encourages open dialogue, allowing leaders to gather critical information that can inform the development of proposals that are more likely to be accepted. Moreover, understanding the other party's priorities can uncover common ground and shared goals, facilitating a more collaborative negotiation process. What alternatives can we consider if we can't reach an agreement? Introducing the concept of alternatives or exploring the best alternative to a negotiated agreement encourages both sides to think beyond the current impasse. Discussing alternatives can lead to more flexible thinking and a willingness to find common ground. Understanding the best alternative is crucial in negotiation, provides a benchmark against which to evaluate potential agreements, and ensures that you're going to get a better alternative. So implementing these phrases, preparation, active listening, flexibility, and building rapport. So having those phone conversations, if you've got a problem, don't send a text, call. That's the first thing. If you're establishing rapport with an agent and you're talking to them on the phone, you're going to be able to use these negotiation features and be able to figure out what it is that they actually want to do. Danielle, I'm sorry you're being used as an example today, but Danielle, well, picked up the phone and said, okay, well, what changed from Friday on this Chase Bank pre-approval? Something changed. Well, if it didn't, well, let's get to another alternative. Let's get you to a different lender. At least try, because your buyer still wants to buy the house, right? Let's make it a win-win. And I think Danielle highlighted this negotiation perfectly. This is also from NAR. This is helping buyers understand financing. Nearly 1 in 3 renters admit to delaying a home purchase because of misgivings about the mortgage process. Real estate professionals must play the role of an educator, helping to clear up their clients' misunderstanding about a home purchase. It's clear that improved education and resources could help foster Americans' homeownership success. Researchers note in this surety bond survey, the housing market continues to change, so must our approach to home ownership literacy. Aside from confusion about mortgages, home buyers also appear to misunderstand the added cost involved when buying a home, such as closing costs and property maintenance. Having that buyer conversation up front about, hey, here's the things that you can expect during this process. You're going to have an option fee. You're going to have earnest money. You're going to have an inspection that you don't get credit for in closing. You're going to have an appraisal fee. Is there going to be a survey that has to be drawn? These are the things that you're going to talk about. Then you're going to talk about the down payment and then how we get around those things, how we build the contract to reflect all of those fees. Do you understand, Mr. Buyer, that you're going to be on the hook for all this? I always have the conversation of, hey, we're going to have earnest money and option money. Here's how much it's going to be. That's going to be due in 3 days. Do you have that money in your bank account today? If they don't, then you don't write the contract, because then you can get into a default situation and it's not fun. So those are very good conversations to have. Buyers are unaware of key real estate terms. 1 in 8 buyers surveyed could not accurately define what a mortgage is. 43 were unsure of the meaning mortgage rate, the survey found. That knowledge gap may be alarming considering that 74% of buyers financed their home purchase with a mortgage in 2024. All those consumer guides that are linked in Monday night's email that I send out, those are fantastic consumer guides. There's a wealth of information there. And I'm going to actually give you something on the last slide, a video series that TXR has put out that I'm going to give you a link to. So, and there's a lot of good information there. Another things that we can help them do, 41% of homeowners say they did not feel confident in negotiating mortgage rates or refinancing terms with a lender. The average borrower could save an average of $76,000 over the life of their loan, $212 a month, just by comparison shopping for a mortgage and negotiating rates. Many buyers say they were unaware of more affordable loan options such as FHA loans, VA loans, and there's an NAR consumer guide there that you can share for the VA. You can provide your clients with it because NAR's consumer guide on buying your first home as well as the customer handout. More than a quarter of homeowners, 27%, say they were caught off guard about unexpected fees during the process. Real estate professionals can help their clients prepare for the added costs such as property taxes, insurance, HOA fees, and routine property maintenance. Most financial advisors recommend saving 1 to 2% of the home's purchase price annually. More than 40% of homeowners say they do not use an escrow account to pay their property taxes, but that could expose them to large annual tax bills. That's a conversation that's great to have with a buyer. Hey, are you going to put all of your taxes and your insurance in escrow? What does that mean? Got a great conversation. Let's talk about escrow. Let's talk to the lender about, do I need to set up an escrow account? Brian, I don't have an escrow account. I always pay my taxes and my insurance individually. Most lenders require an escrow account, especially if you're getting an FHA mortgage. But some of the other components out there, they don't. So that's always a question that you can ask your lender. Are you going to require an escrow account? Do we need to have that escrow account? And what does that look like? So a conversation that I always have with buyers at the closing table, after we've signed all the papers and they take them out and they go, hey, we're going to get you copies of all this stuff. While I'm sitting there, I start talking to them about, okay, so taxes are going up. They're going to go up on your property. So what I would like for you to do is take $100 a month and put it in a savings account, at least. If you could do more, put it aside. That way, when the taxes go up and you've got this escrow account, you're not short and have to come up with a big payment or make your payment go up. When they send you that bill and say, hey, you owe us an extra $2,000 and you've been saving for 2 years, you've got the money, you pay it. So that's always a conversation that I like to have with my buyers.
That happened to us this year.
Did it?
Yeah, well, it was just $1,200, but still.
If you've been saving $100 a month,
Mine went up way more than that.
yeah. Well, and you remember Tarrant County is going to 2 years. Tarrant County is going to every 2 years of valuation round.
That's good. That's what Parker County's been, which has helped to keep our.
Yeah, but it's going to go up.
It can go up to 10% though.
It can, and it's going to.
And Parker can only go up 8% over 2 years.
There you go. Not paying attention to home affordability. Some buyers may be at risk of overspending on their home purchase, and it could lead to buyer's remorse. 1 in 9 homeowners say they regret buying their home due to the unexpected costs they learned about only after closing. 1 in 9 homeowners say they spend more than 50% of their monthly income on housing cost, which is considered severely cost burdened. 36% of homeowners say they did not have an emergency fund to cover unexpected home repairs, leaving them vulnerable to further financial strain. So those NAR consumer guides are fantastic. If you haven't looked through them, please do so. Just hit the link in the email that I sent on Monday, and all the consumer guides are there. I think there's 27 of them now, but they're really good. What you can do, these are things that you can do to improve home buying education. Host an education seminar. Team with lenders or financial advisors to offer buyer education seminars that highlight the financial aspects of a home purchase. Loans and grants for first-time home buyers may help your clients better afford home ownership. If you're not asking about the grants available, you should be to the lenders because there's grants out there and there's just money. Don't leave it on the table. T-Shack is a great one. That's one of my buyers is using T-Shack now. Talk real estate on social media. Linda Baker with an associate broker with Linda Baker and Associates in Atlanta, has amassed more than 870,000 followers on TikTok from her short form real estate education videos, range of topics, blah, 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 blah. Customize your consumer handouts, publish content on your blogs and newsletters, and provide handouts about the various aspects of home buying. You can, do any of those things from beginning to end. Here's the flow chart. If you're not using it, use it. Load it to your listing if you want to. I have approval that GF Netris and Greater Fort Worth and Metrotex will not balk at this being in your transaction desk on your listing. You can put the flow chart there. Helps people. Now I did get denied on my wording that I wanted to use, and they went all the way to Netris with that. But I wanted to put, this is a broker to broker transaction. Please use paragraph 12A1B to, or
Offer
offer
Did you
instructions.
allow that?
Will not allow it in offer instructions.
But that doesn't have to do with the person at all.
I know, but it's part of the buying process, and it was denied by
Had you
MLS.
not asked that, then I'm sure other people are doing that.
I bet they are. But I wanted to put it in like in offer instructions in a PDF document,
Yeah.
and then load it to transaction desk. And they said, no, can't do it. I said, okay, thank you. At least we asked. We tried. So, but you can't put the flow chart, and then of course you have the conversation. Now, I know that we've talked about this previously, but when the buyer's agent calls you, if you're the listing agent, the buyer's agent texts or calls and said, is your seller offering compensation, offering BAC? My new wording is this. I say, yes, the sellers want to remain negotiable, but we are willing to pay up to 3% with an acceptable offer. That apparently created me saying that, yes, we're willing to negotiate, but we want to remain flexible. That has, every time I've said that to an agent now, they all understand exactly what I mean. Before I was just saying,
But
yes.
Is that because you already have in your listing agreement? Are you doing broker to broker and you're filling it out ahead of time that your seller is going to pay up to the 3% in compensation?
Mhm.
Okay, because I do it differently, but go ahead.
No,
keep
please,
going.
you tell me. I'm done.
I like,
Please, please bring it.
I like the way we had that discussion a couple of weeks ago, months,
Yeah.
whatever, after our meeting. And I started changing the way I did mine, and
Please share.
I liked it.
Please
I
share.
do like it.
I mean, I'm approaching all of them where I'm doing, broker to
Seller to broker.
seller to broker.
Okay.
And I'm just telling them what my compensation is. And then I'm telling them that the buyer agent compensation is going to be outlined in the offer.
Okay.
And we're going to negotiate that at the time of offer, just like we are going to negotiate sales price, closing date, whether or not we're going to be, giving them a home warranty if they ask for it, who's paying for title policy. That is going to be completely negotiable.
So you're using paragraph 12, 1B, not 1A,
On the listing agreement?
on the contract.
Yes.
Paragraph 12, you're going to the part
Yes.
where, and you're making them put that in there,
Yes.
and they are leaving the bottom of page 10 blank.
Correct.
Has nothing to do with anything.
Correct. I am then moving to the next phase of it where I say to them, however, this is what you might be expecting or might see on an offer, where the buyer is going to be asking for 3% of seller concessions to be paid towards the compensation towards the buyer's agent.
Okay.
And then I'm filling out a net sheet, just like I would do any net sheet.
Okay.
And I'm highlighting that this is negotiable, just like the sales price.
You're
is
speaking
negotiable.
as a listing agent right now?
I'm speaking completely as a listing agent.
And
I'm not negotiating that fee, but I am telling them up front that you can probably expect up to 3%.
Yeah.
Is going to come in on an offer.
Right. It's like a prep phase.
It's a prep phase,
Yeah.
but I am not.
Educating.
I'm not putting it in my listing agreement. I am not
Gotcha.
tying them to it. And I am only stating what my compensation
And what I
is.
liked about when we talked about it last time, you're like, why would I negotiate the buyer's agent compensation? Like, why am I going to negotiate that for a buyer's agent?
Right.
And
Because I'm no longer paying that out.
you're gonna be paying it, just like you're gonna be negotiating what you're gonna be paying for on all terms of the contract.
So you never see a 2402. You just have the contract and that's all you have.
That's what I'm doing.
I think that's
That's what I-
perfectly.
That's what I do as well. And all of these things are setting healthy expectations up front, which is just your proactive communication. And it doesn't mean that that's going to be the way that it goes. But in order to, prepare them mentally, you've got to put those healthy expectations up front so that they know this may end up where, over here, or it may end up over there. So I love all of it. Good stuff.
Patty, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's all great. I think the options that we're able to give our sellers is very robust. And I think it helps create value when they say, oh, I have all these options, and then I have this great agent to guide me through these options as they come up. But my question is, so Clarissa, when you get, because you're using 121AB, right? Or let me say it this way. If your seller says broker to broker, I don't want to deal with it, I'm willing to pay up to that 3%. And we get the offers, and the offers are, we're going to counter and maybe pay less than the 3% or 2% or whatever is out there. Do we then need to amend the listing agreement with our seller before we accept said offer?
Not if you're filling out 5B on the listing agreement. 5B is,
Yeah, because I'm only on the listing agreement, I'm only putting in my compensation. Nowhere in the listing agreement am I stating.
5A is for if you're offering.
Total.
But in your situation, what you're talking about, it sounds like if the agent is now, or the client's coming back and saying like, this is too much math, I don't want to deal with the seller concessions. Is that what you're saying?
No, so I'm sorry, I wasn't very clear. I kind of jumped. The question is, so if you use broker to broker, right? We are willing to offer X% to a buyer's agent. Offer comes in, offer is not acceptable, and we negotiate and the buyer agent takes less than the percentage in the listing agreement.
Yeah, then I think you have to go back and amend it.
Does the listing agreement need to be amended before we execute that particular offer? So, and then if that offer falls through,
I want you to read the sentence under 5AB. I have to go look at it. Patty, there's a sentence there that we talked about with Angela. Are you looking at it right now?
we're in the listing agreement. Hold on.
Yeah, in the
It says.
Angela's looking it up right now. We just had this conversation in Slack 2 days ago.
Yeah,
It
I
says that-
got a little lost in that. I'll admit.
Any of the money that's not taken by the buyer's agent actually just goes back to the seller. It's not the listing agent. Her question, Angela's specific question was, I put on my listing agreement, I'm getting 6%. 3 to me, broker to broker 3. So
Yes.
she did 5A. Okay. At the bottom of that, underneath that sentence, it says any compensation that the buyer's agent doesn't get just goes away.
Yeah. It's
Okay. Okay, perfect. So then if it is negotiated in the contract, we don't have to go back and forth with the seller on the listing agreement to change it. Thank you.
And so
Ideally,
Clarissa is using 5B.
Yes,
Not 5A.
I totally understand the way Clarissa is presenting at a listing appointment. And I'm kind of testing that as an option, right? Like, here's your options, seller. We can do our brokers can exchange the funds. We can agree to this, and that is still negotiable. It's not forever and ever amen. It's a negotiable contract. And then, or if you want to be in control of it, I'll negotiate my compensation and you will handle the negotiations, and we will just let a buyer know that you will be paying, and how that is outlined in the contract will be slightly different.
Correct.
Okay.
Anna, go ahead.
well, I was just thinking, just from a streamlined position of not having to go back and amend your listing agreement, because of that statement in that paragraph about any unused portion going back to the seller. It seems more streamlined and simplified to just go broker to broker.
I would agree. I would
Well,
agree, but there are
I-
buyers out there or there are sellers out there that like that control.
I
I'm
agree.
finding that they like they want to be the negotiator. They, you know, and that's when I go, hey, then all I'm going to do is negotiate mine, and I'm going to let potential buyers know that this is negotiable and put it in your offer in this way. Use this flow chart, which nobody's looking at, by the way, Brian.
I
Well,
would still do all of that, but just write my listing agreement broker to broker. I mean,
Well,
does that make sense?
So like,
Yeah.
I just represented a buyer, and the listing was with an Evie Holiday agent, and the agent, I sent the text, is this broker to broker? Is this seller to broker? And she said, all of Evie Holiday is broker to broker. So a lot of the brokerages are making that decision. We're not going to, because I like Claire's way of doing it. And why would I, as the broker, limit your resources and your sellers to definitely doing it this way? We're not going to do that, because I really think that's brilliant. For certain people, that's brilliant.
So really, if it's broker to broker, it's set in stone. If it's seller, it's negotiable. Is that really kind of what it boils down to?
No, broker to broker is negotiable too.
It's negotiable. I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
it's all.
saying seller. If you're saying seller to whatever, it's just more so. You're basically leaving it.
I think
more
it's just
open.
also the disclosure, because there's the next paragraph that says seller allows broker to or not to disclose whatever. So if they've checked yes, that you're willing to disclose that there's a 3% available, you also now have to disclose it. Whereas this way, it's just my seller is willing to negotiate. Bring us an offer.
Bring us on.
But the other side of it, sorry, that I want to just also say, and this is a me thing that I get to work on, but I have noticed with myself in my business, if money has to be given to save a deal, I always am just the one to say, like, let me just give. Like, let me discount, let me give, let me contribute, because like that's just the way my brain operates. This is saving me from myself. Like, this is saving me from being the one that says, I'm going to give, because I have upfront said my fee is 3%, and that is it. Like, that is my fee. It's not negotiable, because that's what I'm saying. And if somebody else wants to give, somebody else can give. And that's just like a goal that I've set for myself this year, is to not discount anymore, or at least not go in discounting. And so I don't know, if you're somebody that also has done that, this is a great way to just kind of stop it before it begins.
I'm also scared of the negotiating thing on the other side, because I don't want an agent to deter their clients away from.
Yeah, but it's illegal. So it's like,
That doesn't stop anybody.
well,
You know what
I mean,
like,
yeah.
I feel like if you tell, because when I had someone ask me about my listing and I told them that, because it was 2.5%,
uh-huh.
They were like, oh, well, my buyer is not going to pay the difference of that. And I'm like, so realistically, yes, it is against the law, but
I mean,
they
I
will
had
deter.
and at the end of the day,
That's what makes me scared.
and I had same situation. Like, I had that situation happen this week on a listing where, in my listing agreement, it was 5%. Like, that's what we had negotiated.
Yeah.
That's what we'd agreed on. And, I told that to the agent. Like, she didn't call and ask before. She just submitted her offer with 3%. And I came back during negotiations and was like, hey, this is actually only a 2.5% buyer agent compensation. And she took that to her clients. Her clients upped their offer by $2,000. She got 3%. And because my client was so happy, he bumped us up to 3% too.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
awesome.
like, it can go both ways. And so I think at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, it is potentially going to deter people, but also like serious buyers and serious agents should be willing to have that conversation with their client of, hey, like, this is what I agreed on. If you're going to enforce it, then have the balls to enforce it.
Yeah.
And if not, you shouldn't be in this industry. And second of all, not that you can't negotiate for yourself, but I'm just saying, like, if you're not okay taking the hit, why are you showing houses? Or
Yeah.
if you can't overcome that,
There's so many cases.
totally. I mean, and there are, but I think at the end of the day, like, also then check my client has not given me the permission to disclose this.
Yeah. Clarissa, do you have another comment?
Go back to your.
Okay.
Say, hey, if, this is what I've had to tell my sellers is if you offer 2.5 up front and it deters them because it could, I tell them that, then you are maybe missing out on opportunity to get a really good offer. You've already got $100,000 of equity. What is 0.5%?
Yeah.
So just let them come with the offer and then we can change our listing agreement later.
Yeah.
We can edit whatever later, because in reality, an offer, and like he said, it has to be a win-win. And once it's a win-win, everybody's happy. And that's all we're really looking for.
Yeah.
I think that I've had to explain that because I lost a deal with a really close friend that I have helped them buy their house, and they wanted a house within a 5-mile radius of my house. That's how close we were. That's when we bought their house. They have $100,000 of equity and they hired another agent because that agent guaranteed them they could negotiate down the buyer's agent fee. And they also took a 1% hit on their fee. So they basically told them, I will get you a 4%. You cannot, there's no way you can possibly agree. There's no way you could possibly know you can negotiate down.
Yeah.
And the fact, and I told my client, my previous client, it's now someone else's client, there's no way that you know that he is scaring off buyers by telling them, hey, no, we really need you to just take 2.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. He's literally listing their house, telling them they only have to pay 4%. He promises he'll negotiate it. And then there's no way they're losing buyers.
You're cutting your market, cutting your buyer pool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I explained it to him the way that she told me to, because I heard that same conversation and I tried to tell him, hey, you be in charge of the buyer rep amount. Whenever the offers come in, you can say yes or no. And I was going to do what you said. And I reduced mine to 2.5. And he still took that other guy because that other guy insisted he could get the buyer's agent commission down to 2%.
Have they sold the property?
Oh,
Yeah, so I mean, that's. Yeah.
Well, and we can all have the high-minded goals. We can all say that this is the golden age of real estate, and we understand we're going to be able to negotiate all these things. But let's just be honest. There's a lot of buyer's agents out there that don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have I mean, he can't see through a magic 8 ball just like you can.
No.
I mean, that client basically listened to what they wanted to hear, and they didn't listen to the research and the knowledge and everything. You know, I am possibly going to lose a listing today competing against an agent where I know that agent is going to do that same thing.
Yeah.
And I am okay with it because I know at the end of the day, those people are not
She
going to
just
be
said,
able to
they're
sell
like
that house.
Yeah. And then
Not in this market.
And the headache of having to deal with that and
Yeah.
knowing you're not going to be able to sell the house because you're not willing to pay it.
Cut your loss. Cut your losses.
Yeah.
Cut your losses.
I do like the thing about all of you. I'm sorry, but like pretty much just leaving it open, saying like what you said with an appropriate offer.
Yeah.
Like let's talk. Like instead of just being like 2.5%,
Right.
you know, just kind of like leaving the door open just to get something, like get an offer
Yeah.
in something.
I try and look at it, this is what I was gonna say. I try and look at it as it's now more a part of the contract, like everything else that is in the hands of the client's negotiation power. And especially on the listing side, like when my clients, when I go on a listing appointment and they've got crappy carpet and, you know, they're like, well, can't we just offer a seller's concession for the carpet? Yes, we absolutely can. So if you want to list at 400,000 and offer $10,000 in concessions, you do realize that we are putting that out there in the universe that you're willing to take 390 for your house. Like you're already giving something.
Mhm.
You're already putting it out there so it's the same thing. Like if we're already putting it out there that they're giving up to 3%,
You're leaving money on the table.
you're putting it out there.
Yeah.
Let's wait for the contract to
Yeah.
come in.
And then negotiate.
I mean, and I will
That's
say,
fine.
even on like, on Mary's Lane, that house that's been sitting and sitting and sitting and sitting, and I did it not on purpose. I mean, I saved my seller 0.5% on commission because I told the buyer's agent 2.5%. And they said, okay. He agreed to up to 3%, and I messed up, but I thought we split it 2.5, and I was gonna take 2 and she was gonna take 3, but I just wasn't in front of my computer and I was like, I think it's a 2.5%. And she said, okay, and my client saved 2.5 or saved 0.5%.
That's
And
awesome.
so,
There's a lot of 2.5%.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and hit this last wings. So the cheat sheet for compensation is still there. I'm leaving it up on the brokerage channel, and I'm still putting it into my slides every week so you guys can see it. This is the link for the legal briefs from TXR. That's the actual link. It'll be in your follow-up today in the brokerage announcements channel. But I created a Bitly for it, so you guys can actually hit that and go to all the legal briefs. I think there's 2 pages of videos, and the last one they put out, don't watch, okay? Don't watch it because it'll just confuse you. It's about paragraph 12. I think that is a much better interpretation than somebody talking through paragraph 12. Because this one, it's very simple. If you use paragraph 5A, this is what you do. If you use paragraph 5B, this is what you do. Plain and simple, cut and dry. Any other comments? Everybody good? Jana, Patty. We're going to call that a meeting at 10:54. Thank you guys for being here today. Happy spring break. Next week. Okay, so just so you know, from Friday, 2 o'clock until Sunday, the week after spring break, I probably will be in Tennessee. And I'm going to be in the mountains, and I have no idea if I'm getting cell signal. If you have a problem, start with Slack, please. If I get on the internet, I will promise I'll watch Slack. So hit Slack first. Jimmy's going to be out of town for a couple of days too, but he'll be watching Slack. All of our subject matter experts will be watching Slack. If you have an issue, please start there. Okay? That's it. Thank you guys.
What are you doing?
I need to get them down. I need to figure out how much it costs to get them down.
So you just,
Because I think that we said.
Well, you know, I just walked in, so I called.
oh, for sure.